What is up, guys? What is going on? Welcome back to another live, first live of 2025. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing well. Let me know if you can hear me and everything looks good. Yeah, welcome, guys. Happy New Year. I know it's a little bit late. It's 1st of February, but this is the first live stream of the year, so Happy New Year to you guys. Funny enough, this is the first time you guys are actually seeing me in 2025, and what I mean by that is, yes, there's been a bunch of videos coming out, but all of them were filmed last year. And so this is the first time I am back on the channel in 2025. This is how I look in 2025. Hey, Aaron, what's going on? Yes, happy Saturday, my friend. I hope you're doing well, Aaron. Me and Aaron had a wonderful private lesson a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, guys, I've been keeping well. I hope all of you guys are doing well. Let me just adjust this a little bit. Yeah, that looks all right. Yeah, I've been keeping well, guys. I've been had a nice holiday. I know it's like a month ago, and it seems like a while to talk about the holidays, but we haven't talked since then. So yeah, I had a good holiday. I enjoyed some time off. I had kind of filmed a bunch of the videos that came out over the course of Christmas and over the holidays in the last few weeks. I had kind of pre-filmed those so I could take a little bit of a break, went and saw the family, and so I had quite a good holiday. And now 2025, it's been a great start to the year. You know, I hope you guys have been enjoying the new videos so far. And yeah, I'm just interesting. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So what is new? What is new? Honestly, it's been hey, Nikos512. What's going on, Nick? I'm gonna call you Nick. What's going on? Welcome to the live. Yeah, this is the first live of the year. I'm excited, man. It's been we did my goal last year was a live every month, and I hit it. We had 12 lives last year, one every month. A couple of months I was a bit late, and we had to double up in another month. But yeah, and this year we're one day late. But I think I like doing a live at least once a month. It's nice to connect and, you know, be able to just jam with you guys and have a good time. So we're gonna try to keep that up this year. I'm still, you know, goals for the channel. Let's see if I have any exciting goals that I can share with you guys. I have a ton of goals. Let's see if there's any I can share. Okay, one I'll share for the channel. I have a bunch of goals channel related, but most of them are going to be kept secret and surprise. I would like to bring back the sleight off. That's a big goal. If you guys don't know, the sleight off is a competition series I do here with other magicians on YouTube, where we kind of challenge each other with various sleights or various plots. And we have to create an original effect given some restrictions or some particular sleights we have to use. Like I had to create an A-can using, like the last episode of the sleight off, it was like create an A-can using, I think, the bottom deal, the Elmsley count, and a back palm, like this in an A-can, right? And so that was like super creative. I did season 3 with Kevin Booth, so I'd like to bring that back for season 4. That's a goal of mine this year. I think the rest of the goals, though, I'm gonna keep a secret from you guys for now, and you'll have to be surprised with what's coming. A lot of big surprises. It's gonna be a great year. I hope it's going to be a great year for all of you guys as well, but it's definitely going to be a special year for myself and the channel. So 2025. So like I said, the last couple of videos you've seen, so we're going to keep the posting schedule the same for the new year, for 2025. We're going to be posting Sundays at 11 a.m. We will be doing lives on mostly Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, but usually Saturdays, and it'll be once a month. That's the plan. Once a month on Saturdays, we'll do a live. I'm not going to commit to like the first Saturday or the last Saturday of the month, just because I'm not sure always when I'll be able to, but I'll try to do on a Saturday. So let me know. I would like to know what time is best for the live for you guys. I kind of do, you know, this is probably the latest I would start a live. Usually I'd start like 2 hours even before this. So yeah. What else? Yeah, so the posting schedules will stay the same. Sundays, I will continue to post a long form video at 11 a.m. Got a lot of exciting new videos coming up. And then Wednesdays and Fridays at 1 p.m. will be the shorts. So I'm planning to keep that up. I don't think I really missed a video at all last year. A short or long form. I don't think I missed a single video. So that was pretty exciting. So it's like 156 videos. So hopefully 156 more this year. And some more. Like I dropped a few bonus videos already this year. I think 2 or 3. Jonas, hey Reed, did you try the animal effect? Thanks for your support in the private lesson. Yeah, me and Jonas had a couple of private lessons recently. He's working on a pretty incredible system for propless mentalism. If you guys are a fan of propless mentalism, keep an eye out for that. It's a pretty cool system I've been helping him kind of work on and refine. Have I tried it? No, I have not tried. So we're working on this propless animal divination. That's pretty neat. I haven't tried it yet. I've been kind of writing it down and looking at the different scripts and coming up with what I think is, you know, that best version, kind of what, like we were talking about. And so I think we're pretty much there, but no, I haven't had a chance to perform it much as of yet. But I want to get a little bit more comfortable with it, and then I will absolutely be trying it. I'd like to try it at Blackpool, so good segue. I am going to be at Blackpool. Blackpool is about 2 weeks away. I will be there. Is anyone else going to be at Blackpool? If you are, I would love to meet as many of you guys as I can. Jam, you know, whatever it is, just chill, just talk. We can jam. If you have any questions, you want to learn something in person, whatever it is, I'm happy to help. I'm going to be at Blackpool. I cannot wait. It is my first Blackpool. So I hope to see some of you guys there. I got a lot of cool effects that I'm going to be sharing with people who want to see it. So if you want to see something cool, come on up and ask to see something cool, and I will show you. I got a lot of material that I want to share with people at Blackpool, and so I'm really looking forward to that. There's going to be a lot of great lectures, a lot of great shows, and I'm just looking forward to, you know, being around the community, being a bit more involved and all that. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything you'd like me to cover, let me know down in the chat, and I will get to it. I will answer any questions you got. So in terms of 2025, so Blackpool is a big thing. That's exciting. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. Otherwise, what else? So new videos. I gotta film the next couple of months of videos, in the sense of like our long form videos, I should say. Have you seen Chris Ramsey's announcement about FISM 2025? Oh no, sorry, FISM 25, which is happening I think in 27 or 28. Let me go to Instagram. Okay, I opened my Instagram and he's the first thing that popped up, so I'm assuming it's this. Let me see.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just made history. FISM, which is the Olympics of Magic, happens every 3 years. The biggest stage in Magic has accepted a brand new category. And that category, after almost a year of trying and pushing and working it through, has now been accepted. And that category is online Magic performance. Best online Magic performance. That's right. You had the chance to become a world champion in Magic and get a actual FISM trophy for posting a video online. This is a historic event for all my fellow magician friends who post videos online, but also if you're posting Magic newsletters or you have a podcast or you're vlogging, there are other categories that will acknowledge those as well. There's a kind of FISM adjacent, and they're in a bit of a trial period. And if they get, if they get enough momentum, they'll eventually become an official, FISM category. But for now, we have one category plus like 6 other sort of semi-categories. all this to say, this is a big day for online magic. So if you're out there making magic videos, now's your chance. I tagged them below. You can go on their website, check out all the rules, make sure to read the rules. I made a video about it on my channel. But man, this is a very, very, very historic day for magic indeed. FISM Italy 2025. I'll see you guys there.
Cool. Wow, I haven't heard about that yet. So it sounds like, I mean, I played the whole video for you guys. Sounds like FISM is gonna have an online category. Wow, that's neat. That's pretty cool. You know, I'll have to look into more about the rules and all of that. I think that is totally awesome. I think, you know, it's interesting because I think there is a whole different style of magic when it comes to performing online and for videos. Like, if you guys watch any of the shorts that I do, just for the camera or whatever, like, there are some that's just, you know, me performing a trick that I could perform to anyone else. But like the one I posted on yesterday, is a trick that would only work for virtual. Actually, it's a virtual trick, and it actually is really good because of that fact. Like, the method is better because it's virtual, and I was able to do something sneaky, right? You have so many. I don't understand the people who say that, like, oh, you know, performing virtual magic or using, you know, magic online is cheating, or even stuff like camera cuts, and it's just another method, right? It's the same people who think stooging is a bad method. It might not be the right method for you or your situation, but it's just another method. Whatever accomplishes the effect best is great. And so I really like the idea of, like, challenging, you know, and pushing the boundaries. And with online magic, you can play around with things like video edits and dual reality, like dual reality through video, where the person on video versus the people watching the video have a completely different reality of what's going on. And so that, I think, is super neat. Jim, hey Jim, what's going on? Me and Jim just had a private lesson the other day. Always good to see you, Jim. Jacob, well, hey, from SoCal. Hey, Jacob, what's going on? Welcome to the live, my friend. Anyway, like I was saying, so we're talking about FISM has just announced that they're going to have a category for online magic, so like a video magic performance. And I was just saying that I think using new methods and pushing the boundaries, like Zach King, for example, does some crazy stuff with like hardcore CGI video edits. There's also the side of like cuts, where the video can cut, and disguising the cut, and loops. Then there's the forced perspective of a camera and how you can use that to your advantage. I'd highly recommend you check out two videos on my channel. One's a series. So I did a series called Behind the Screens. And I haven't done a new episode. There's 4 episodes. I haven't done a new one in a long time. But basically, if you haven't seen it, and I think a lot of the new subscribers probably haven't seen it, I would film a magic trick for someone on Omegle, which is like a virtual chat site. So it's a real person, but we're FaceTiming basically through it with a stranger. And I would perform these elaborate tricks, not just like a card trick, but like card to egg. I did any card, any dartboard, and all these crazy ideas with like dropping cards out of the second story window of my house and doing a bullet catch routine, like full scale, like crazy elaborate effects. They're all on my channel in the Behind the Screen series. And I would show you the effect, and you'd see it for how the audience saw it, and you'd be impressed. But then I had to have a second camera filming from not the perspective of the computer, but behind the screen, right? So it was called Behind the Screens. That was the name of the series. And you would see, so I'd play the actual trick, and then I'd play the behind the screens footage, so you could see exactly how I did the trick, and you see all the things going on behind the scenes, how the effect worked, and everything outside of this forced perspective that is the camera. And a lot of times the effects used accomplices and people helping me outside of the screen and all these things. So all that to say, there's so many unique ideas when it comes to doing magic online, ways to do video editing. But if you think about it, if you can do a video cut, right? If you do a trick like, okay, maybe in any card at any number, and I tell, maybe that won't be the best example, but what's a good example? Some kind of trick. Okay, let's say I do a bullet catch. So I dribble the cards, and I show a card to the camera, and then I do the fairest shuffle. I do a table wash, all this stuff, and then I dribble the cards and I pluck a card out, the cleanest one card, and the card matches. But the method, and everyone can tell who watches it, is I dribble the cards. There's I grab a card out, and then there's a clear cut in the video, and then I turn the card around. Well, that's not going to be very impressive because people notice the cut. They see when it cuts, and obviously the method was I grabbed a random card, I stopped, I grabbed the real card, which was I think the Ace of Hearts in this case, and then I go like this, and then I continue and I pretend like that's the card that I pulled out, and I just cut out that middle part. Now, obviously that's not a good effect, but if you could find a way to perfectly seamlessly hide that cut, whether it's through an abrupt camera motion or some clever editing, or maybe you take the time to like perfectly replicate the frames or something, that is a lot of effort and a really unique method to be able to fully disguise a cut. So a good example of this, and the other video I think you guys should check out, is a video of me teaching an A-can on this channel that I call leg can, LAGCAAN, leg can. And that was an idea that I had for a while of performing an A-can, but it would be a dual reality through the video. So the dual reality is the effect that happened to the person I was performing for on the camera was one thing, but then I scripted the routine and had all these moments, and it was a ton of work to get it all to line up, but I could basically have it so that I could ask them to name a card and name a number, and then I would do a bunch of stuff in the middle, but then at the end, using sleight of hand, it would result in that card being at that number. But then for video, I could chop out that entire middle section, and all you see is them naming a card and a number, and me dealing down to that card and that number. But obviously, again, if you see the cut, that's not impressive. So then I had to find a way to disguise the cut, and I did that using lag. Because I was doing the performance through Zoom, I just added in some fake like camera lag or internet lag, where it made it look like, he lost connection, I lost connection for like a split frame, and that's when I hid the cut. And all that considered, I mean, you guys know the method now, but I posted that trick originally before the explanation, and people were floored. Like, this is the best A-can ever, how did you do this, right? And then I put out a whole explanation, so I'd recommend you go watch that explanation of me explaining all the moments. There's so much that went into it, subtlety and scripting and all this stuff, so that it looks congruent in both performances, and the dual reality kind of holds up. So all that to say, long-winded way of me saying, I think there is a valid point of there's a new FISM category for this online magic. I think, stuff like what Zach King does, and some of the stuff that I've even tried to do to push the boundaries of what you can do on video, because video is always tricky. People can watch it back and all these things, and I like to try to come up with new ways. I love interactive magic, so when I can try to find ways to make the magic really interactive with the audience, I love that. Where you can just watch a video and it's some kind of interactive thing. I like exploring those methods. So all that to say, I think it's valid. Okay, let me see some of these questions. Any advice on the top change technique that requires as little misdirection as possible? So not the classic. Yeah, so we'll jump down to the card table in a bit, and I'll give you all my top change tips. Maybe talk a little bit about the billet switch for the in the hands cleanup and a one ahead routine. Billet switch in the hands. Okay, so how to clean up in the hands for a one ahead routine. Okay, we can talk about that in a second. Have you been working on that top change? Don't worry, you'll get there, champ. Honestly, that's a thing that I didn't think would catch on with the channel, but so many people have been making that joke, and I think it's hilarious. Like, if you don't know, I think I posted it was a Dear Magicians video, and the whole premise was that the one about like being nice to each other or something, or being positive? And I talk about this guy who said my top change was bad in my top change video, when like I undoubtedly had a good top change in that video, and I demonstrated it, and I got a little bit like animated, because I was like I just don't understand. Like, some people, just dumb. Anyway, and then a bunch of people have been making that joke on different videos, so I find that really funny. Yeah, I'm still working on the top change, trying to improve. Behind the screen's great play on words. I'm glad you caught it. Yes, I love it. All you need is an assistant, and you simply freeze all the motion when you cut and have your assistant hand you the right card off screen. So unfortunately, it's not going to work that easily. I hear what you're saying. And yes, as a method, that method would work, besides the fact that that wouldn't hide the cut, at least how I'm interpreting what you're saying. Because you can freeze, but you'll never freeze perfectly, right? Like you could, and then she could just take this out and stick it in, right? And yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you did a couple of takes, you could get one that's really, really close, but it would be tricky. It would be hard to do, but you know what? I think that would be feasible. They're just in the typical way that you'd use. So that's kind of the only context I think that would work, is when you're having a card and you could just have an assistant change it out. And funny enough, I kind of like, that gave me an idea for something else, and I might try something. But there's other moving parts, like other routines where maybe the deck is in a certain position and the camera's down at the table. So you see the deck over here, you see the cards over here, and then I have to go through the deck to set up something. It's going to be hard to replicate, but definitely you can. But if you think about that, that would be, if you perfectly executed that, where you can perfectly do the cut and replace this card, and there's no other movement, and then when you do the edit, it looks perfect. I mean, that's a mind-blowing effect, and it's an effect for video. I think it's on the audience watching the video to understand, like, hey, I need to know that this is video and take it with a grain of salt, right? And if you're the person who's getting like, what's the word? So worked up about trying to figure out a method on video, and you're not like thinking about the possibilities that it's on video, and there's a lot of other methods that can be used because of that, well, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice, right? Hi, Reed. Finally something good to watch on YouTube. Hey, Mike. Welcome to the live, man. Me and Mike also had a private lesson like last month or a few weeks ago. So good to see you again, Mike. Hope all is well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about... Okay, I'll let you guys drop a few other questions. I'm going to jump down to the card table in about 5 minutes. So if you have any card-related or sleight of hand, mentalism-related questions, I'm going to jump down to the table in a little bit, and we'll talk about some of that. I like to give an update usually at the beginning of these videos, give you guys a sneak peek at what videos are upcoming on the channel. We're getting a nice sun reflection. Hopefully this might kill my shot. I might have to close the blinds. We might get too overexposed here. We'll see. So I'd like to give you guys, an update on the new videos that are coming. Actually, before I do that, I did also okay, I think this sun might be causing an issue. Let's see. It looks okay for now, but we'll see if it gets worse. So, okay, no, I'm going to close the blinds. Give me a second. Okay, now we're going to have to watch the blinds swinging for a while. Okay, now we don't have enough light. Anyway, well, this'll chill out. It's just the sun is going to kill the shot. So, okay, where was I? So I recently posted a couple of videos that I wanted to talk about. One was about my lecture. So if you guys are interested, I do have a brand new lecture called Mental Minimalism. It's all about minimalism in mentalism, but also there's a whole section on card magic. So just being minimal in general, how to use minimal props to get the most impact. I talk a lot about how to use mentalism moves in card magic, and a lot of my philosophies on mentalism and magic. There's some incredible effects in there. I give a whole breakdown on my billet work system. There is an incredible little piece for kind of stage parlor. There's an incredible thought of card prediction and a incredible little ACAN routine, and then a whole bunch of other stuff, some propless mentalism. So if your club is interested in that at all, you or your club, send me, go check out my website. You can send me an email or fill out the form if you're interested in the lecture. I also talked about my mentalism membership. I put a video on that out last week. So the Mentalism membership has been awesome, guys. It's really developed into an awesome place to learn like fundamentals and new ideas on mentalism. Yeah, the blinds are misdirection. I know they're annoying, but they're starting to slow down now. But it's good misdirection, yeah. So the point being that the Mentalism membership, so that's right here on the channel on YouTube. There's no like Patreon or these other things. You can just hit the join button or the link in the description. And, you know, on there's a ton of, I think Aaron's on there. So Aaron, if you want to, and Mike is on there, and Jonas is on there. Any of the guys with the little badge next to their name, they're on the membership. So if you guys want to speak to how you've enjoyed that. But I'm breaking down, you know, practical mental magic right now. But again, it's not just me kind of reading the book and teaching it. It's a ton more extra ideas, brand new methods, subtleties. There's just a ton of variety on there, and it's an incredible way to learn the fundamentals of mentalism, but also kind of master mentalism. And it's just I'm working on the propless mentalism masterclass, so that's going to be posted there soon. There's going to be a lot of great one-off effects. I'm going to be posting the tutorial for my influence force routine. That's a routine that I posted a few years ago on the channel when I performed it for Street Magic, and tons of people were asking how to learn that. So I'll be posting the tutorial for that up there on my membership. So if you are interested, you also get early access to like every video on this channel comes out early for you guys. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, then go check out the Mentalism membership. And also private lessons. A link in the description. There's like 5 people in here that I've done private lessons with. So yeah, me and Jim met the other day. Me and Mike a couple of weeks ago. Aaron. So yeah, if you guys are interested in a private lesson as well, those are all in the description. So links for that if you are interested. I have a bunch of reviews and stuff on my channel if you'd like a little bit more info, or just send me an email. Okay, now that all the boring stuff's out of the way, I don't really understand the appeal of magic in video. Modern tools for generating special effects like those we see in movies allow reality to be altered completely. All it takes are advanced graphic design skills and a lot of money. That's it. That's not magic. I understand your perspective, though. Here's what I would say. Okay, if you are like, no one watches, it's about the context, right? No one watches a movie and thinks, oh, this is magic how they made this person fly, right? And there's certain effects that aren't going to work on video. Like if I said, hey guys, watch, I can fly, and I fly on video, that is something that's probably not going to play well because it's kind of too perfect. Like obviously it's editing, you know, and if it's not, then you know, there's just not a great effect. But I'm saying if you can cleverly disguise some of these techniques where people don't even think, that's like what I did with that ACAN. No one ever, there was like one person who suspected there was some kind of video editing going on. But hundreds of people were convinced that it was a real method, or a real practical method that could be done in person. And I think that's where the magic lies. It might not be magic in the traditional sense, I get you, but it has an element of creativity. And again, it's a new genre. It's now, I guess it's now recognized by FISM, so I think it's valid. And I've always felt that way. And I think you're allowed to disagree if you want. I mean, that's absolutely no problem. We can agree to disagree. But I think that, I hear you. You can push it too far, right? Definitely. But if you could use some clever editing or some tricks or some forced perspective, like if you go watch the behind the screen stuff I did, and I guess it's not totally your point because it's not video editing. That stuff is real methods, but I'm using the camera fully. I'm forcing the perspective. Like all it needs is for the camera to zoom out, you know, a little bit, and the whole effect falls apart. So how different really is that from video editing when I'm forcing the perspective through a camera lens, where in person none of that would work at all? Like none of the effects I did in that series would work at all in person. So, you know, just something to think about. But I think there's validity there. Do you ever come to the East Coast, the U.S. East Coast to lecture? I would love to. You know, I'm considering putting together some different lecture tours this year. So if there's enough interest, I would love to come out to the East Coast and do a bunch of run my lecture, do a run down there. So Jim, if that's something that you think your club down there would be interested in, if you want to send me, or we can talk in our next lesson about that, and you know, talk to your club, see if they would be interested, because I'd love to do that. You know, if it works out and I can come down there, I'd be really happy to. Is there a group lesson coming soon? I haven't done a group lesson in a little while. I think the last one I kind of scheduled at a bad time. It was near the holidays, and so we didn't get a whole lot of people, so I was just kind of waiting to let it build up a little bit. So yeah, Mike, I'll consider doing one soon. If anyone is interested in the group lessons, it's a great opportunity. It's kind of like a big jam session. I'm in there, you get to ask me whatever you want, and then we have a whole jam with everyone that's in there. They're a whole lot of fun. You're one of the goats, Reed. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. Magic on video isn't new. Houdini did magic in black and white silent movies. Yeah, you're right. It's not new at all. I think what I'm saying is new is the perspective or new methods. Like, I've definitely come up with some new methods for video. Like I said, the short I posted literally on Friday, so the last video I posted on the channel is, as far as I know, an original method for video. But again, it's a method that would only work on video. If you go check out, it's like it's an interactive piece of magic. So I go through the cards and I say, think of one that you see, and it's not like your whole stop force thing. Like you can re-watch the video and do it again, pick a different card, it will still work. So it's got some really cool elements, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a video that if people re-watched and did it again, you know, those interactive kind of hokey magic show, well, not hokey, they're always one outcome, right? When you do these interactive, because you can't change it, it's a video, right? It's locked in. So, yeah, you know, it's what was sorry, I lost my train of thought. They're always very like one-dimensional. There can only be one outcome, and if you rewatch it, it usually destroys it. But this one I think is really neat. And if you understand what's going on, I think you would appreciate the ideas that are in there. So yeah, great read. I'll check with my local magic clubs about possibly next step to bringing your lecture around Boston. Yeah, that would be awesome, man. I'd be happy to do that. So last thing before we jump to the card table, I wanted to just give you guys the update about the upcoming videos. So I love to give the people in a live a little sneak peek about what's coming on the channel. So tomorrow, Sunday, 11 a.m., I have a street magic video. Those are always a lot of fun. So it's a new street magic video, some brand new tricks on there, some brand new people. This is actually the final part of my shoot that I did in Toronto over the summer. So the last few street magic videos have been from that shoot, so it'll be from that shoot again. So you'll see some of the same faces you might recognize. There'll be some new ones, there'll be some new tricks. So it's a really fun video. So stay tuned for that, coming out tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Then the week after, I'm going to be doing how to make your magic, and I actually have to film these, so I'm a little bit behind. I have this week's video done, but the next, I don't have any videos after that filmed, but I have them all scripted and planned out. So next we're going to be doing How to Make Your Magic Better, episode 22, all about recapping. I think this will turn out to be one of the best videos in that series, my How to Make Your Magic Better series, which is all about theory. Because recapping is such a powerful tool in both card magic and mentalism, and if you don't do it, you're missing out, and it's just such an important tool. I'm going to give you guys so many ideas on how to recap, why it's important, how to do it. Super important. So we're going to talk about that. After that, we will be going into a awesome little self-working magic and mentalism type trick. I'm going to be teaching you guys. This one's so cool, a lot of fun, and it's self-working, so really great. Lots of room to, hype up the performance a little bit. It's my handling or my version of a routine out of this book right here. Self-Working Card Tricks by Carl Fulvis. So this is something, actually, I've heard great things about these books, and I've read not all of this book, but I've read some pieces of it. And I'm not a big self-working magic kind of guy, because oftentimes they involve setups, and I don't like doing any effects with setups. I'm very minimal. But I think I wanted to start to do a few more self-working tricks on the channel, because it's not something I've explored a lot. And so I thought getting some inspiration from books like this, and then adding my own spins and touches and creating some self-working magic for you guys could be a lot of fun. So that's what this trick is, my first crack at that. So hopefully you guys love it. I think it's a really awesome one, and I think you guys are going to love it. So that's coming out the week after. Then I'll be doing a performance breakdown. I haven't even decided, actually, because I haven't filmed it. I haven't decided which video I'm going to break down, which street magic video. So if you have any recommendations on which street magic video you'd like me to do a breakdown on that I haven't done yet, now's your chance. Now's your chance to make a request. So then, after that, we got Mentalism 101, episode 14, which is going to be on trying mentalism for the first time. So you've worked through the Mentalism 101 series, you've worked on your character, your process, you've learned some billet peaks, some switches, you've learned about how to practice, you've learned about scripting, all these things we've covered so far in the Mentalism 101 series. You've learned all that, and now you want to go try mentalism for the first time, your first time performing it. I'm going to give you all the tips and secrets for that in that video coming up in a couple of weeks. You guys might be asking yourself, how do you know all these videos? You're posting one long form video every Sunday. You've just given us about 5 videos and I'm about to give you 4 more. How do you know what's coming out? Well, I am a big planner and I like to have everything kind of ironed out. And so I really plan videos and film videos way in advance, and so I can, I'm also a busy guy. I'm an engineer in the daytime, and I have a lot of other commitments. I play football. I spend a lot of time in the gym, and so I'm a busy guy, and so I gotta be able to keep up with the videos. So I film a lot and plan way in advance, and that helps me kind of stay on top of things. So a lot of the videos that you see were filmed months ago and are slowly kind of coming out. And so that's kind of how I know what's going to be forecasted. So after Mentalism 101 episode 14, then I'm going to be doing a whole video on one of my favorite moves, the tent vanish. But I have some really unique ideas, some really cool ideas for you to kind of take your tent vanish to the next level. I'll be showing you how to do a face-up tent vanish, all these things. Maybe when we go down to the table, I'll show you a couple of the ideas. Then, I'm so excited about the next video. We have a brand new series coming to the channel. You know what, I was thinking last year I didn't introduce any new series. I think it's the first year on the channel where I didn't, create a new series or start a new series on the channel. And there were a couple of series that I think are super important, but I kind of was just a little bit less inspired on a few of the series, and so they'll still continue, but maybe a bit less frequently, because I was kind of doing. So to give you guys a peek behind the curtains, I would do 8 videos I would film at once. 8 videos, that's 8 weeks, so about 2 months. And out of those videos, I would do 1 performance breakdown, but I'd always cut them in half because they're so long, so it would be 2 videos. Then the other 6 videos would be 3 tutorials, and I'd try to do like a move, a card trick, and a mentalism trick, roughly. And then the other 3 videos would be how to make your magic better, Dear Magicians, and Mentalism 101. So I kept that schedule basically for the entire of 2024, but I wanted to add a few new series. So I have a brand new series. Should I tell you what it is, what it's about? Should I keep it a secret? Okay, I'll give you a few hints. It is called... Okay, no, I'll give you a few hints, then I'll give you the title, and that's it. There will be a tutorial element to it, but it goes way beyond a normal tutorial. And that's all I'm going to say. And the title of the new series is called Repertoire. That's it. If you have any guesses, let me know in the chat what you think it might be about. But it's a brand new series. We're going to get episode 1 of Repertoire coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited for this. I think it's going to be a really helpful series for you guys and something that's going to be really awesome. Then after that, we got another performance breakdown. And finally, I will be teaching an awesome effect. I'll be teaching my handling on the invisible palm aces. So that's kind of what's up for the next 2 months, a little bit of 2025. So I think let's jump down to the card table now. Let me just adjust everything. Okay. So let's talk about some sleight of hand. What field of activity are you an engineer in? I'm a structural engineer. So I mainly do high-rise design, high-rise condo design, but I do everything. We do long-term care homes, I do community centers, schools, all kinds of stuff. So structural engineer, that is my day job. Yeah, so a couple of things. I'm not a big card collector, but for the For Christmas, my brother got me a bunch of these, like a bicycle pack with all these cool little decks in them. So you'll be kind of seeing them in some of the videos coming out. If you want me to open any of these and show you them, let me know. But I really like this hypnosis one here. I think it looks really cool when you do a card spin. So I've been using this one a lot. I don't know, I like it. I think it's simple. But so I got these 5 new decks. Again, I'm not a big deck collector, but I like to use nice decks in my videos. I like these ones a lot. These ones are really nice, the gold foil and the blue. So these are pretty cool. So I really like these kind of hypnosis ones. I think they look really nice with the spinning double. Let's see if I can get it here. No. I normally do it the other way. That's why this is against the grain of the deck. Okay, let me do it the other way. Oh, come on. Doesn't want to work with this deck. I don't know why. Anyway. There we go. That one was okay. Anyway, I think these cards, sorry, look really cool. Okay, let's talk about the top change a little bit. So, okay, so yeah, you're right. A lot of times the top change, the idea is, you know, hey, distraction, distraction, execute the top change, right? For me, I've always treated the top change as something that can be done while it's being burnt, while your hands are being burnt. And I remember when I learned the top change, just like everyone else, I was very nervous to perform it. And so I came up with various ways of making it more invisible, right? Oh, that's cool. That's never happened before. Jeff Thornley, welcome to Mentalist. Okay, I didn't know it would give an announcement when someone joins on a live. That's awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you for joining the membership. I hope you really enjoy the content that's on there. You know, there's a lot of great mentalism material on there, a lot of great fundamentals and a ton of great ideas. It's a lot to sift through. So if you'd like me to point you in some of my favorite videos on the membership, actually, I guess I could just do that now. I was going to say send me an email, but okay, remind me and I'll come back and I'll point out a few of my favorite videos on the membership that I would recommend you start with. Alex's Magical Adventures. Love your videos. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, thank you for joining, man. I hope you enjoy the content on there. So back to the top change. So for me, I wanted to come up with a way to make it invisible where you could burn it and you wouldn't really see what's going on, right? You wouldn't really see what's going on. Can you break down top change from the beginning? Sure. Okay, so we'll start from the beginning. So top change, and I do have a video on this for a full in-depth breakdown, but for now we'll just talk about it. So I usually hold it, and this is kind of up to you, but I usually hold it with 2 fingers and on the base at the non-pipped corner with the thumb at the back in my right hand. Now this is going to be held behind the deck. And the idea is that you're switching the cards where you're pushing off with the left thumb, this top card, until the bottom card, so the card that's on the deck here, goes underneath the fingers, and the top card goes underneath the thumb of the left hand. So you're basically until the cards get aligned. Once that happens, now you have leverage and you have contact with these cards, and you can exchange them by pulling the thumb, the top one over, and taking this one away. So that's really what's happening. You can see this card comes in until the 5 gets under my fingertips, right? And until this card gets under this left thumb, and then I pull and I move away. So that is kind of what's happening from a mechanics perspective. But you don't really want to put too much effort into it. Like you can see, if you just kind of hold the fingers here, it should just kind of happen. Like you can see this left thumb, watch, it's not even moving. So it's not much of a retraction. The switch happens at the fingertips and you just retract as sort of a cleanup almost. But the fingertips, it's very loose. And all that's happening is the card under here is just getting stuck under the left thumb. So naturally when you move your hand away, the card with the left thumb, right? This one's not going to come easily because the left thumb is touching it. So the second that this card comes over top, well, now the leverage is on this top card. So it's going to stay back. So if I lightly just pull, the bottom card's naturally going to come because it has like a slippery path. There's no leverage from the top thumb. The top thumb's not making contact with it anymore. So it's very loose at this point. right? So that's the move. Now, a lot of people try to do the top change on the side like this, where they try to exchange it 1 for 1 to the side. I kind of come back with it. I exchange it off the back corner. So I'm coming in more like this. And it's the exact same thing. It's just from a different angle. And that's what helps hide it. And that's one of the things that I think makes my top change nice and deceptive. You can see how it's coming off at an angle like that. So that's the first thing that I changed about the way I do the top change. The next thing is the angle, right? We know with most sleight of hand moves, let's say a DPS, for example, if you do it like this, there's going to be that element of a flash. So to correct that, it's all about the tilt. If you go too high, though, I mean, it looks okay, but now they're kind of seeing the bottom of the deck, and you might not flash, but it looks weird. So the perfect is kind of the meat in the middle. And oftentimes, that is the front edge of this deck being pointed at the eye line. And that's kind of what you want, because when it's pointed at the eye line, and now I push through, I did that very slow. There was a small flash, but it was, next to invisible. And the only flash now, here's the nice thing. If I do flash, I'm going to flash the edge of the card, right? You can see it's just the edge. It's not the back. It's not the front. It's the edge. And the edge is much harder to see because it's only like a millimeter thick, right? That edge. If you hold the card like this, it's much harder to see than this is very obvious, right? So all the sleight of hand moves, it's the same idea. And I've kind of tailored most of my moves that are kind of this face on, push a card through the deck. So let's say 6 of clubs, push the card through the deck like that, and it's on the bottom. All of those moves, you can see the angles are always right at the camera, the line, right? Hi, Reed, this is great. I'm glad you like it. And welcome to the live, by the way. I don't think I've seen you in a live before, Hudson52 Sleights. So welcome. So now that we know kind of how this is working, so for cover, essentially, yes, you still want to have a motivation, I think, just to your point, where I think a lot of people try to hide the top change. You don't need to hide it. You can do it where it's being, burnt, where you're watching the cards. But you do want to have a motivation to bring the hands together, because if you're like this and then you come like this, it's going to feel unnatural. So one solution is to just start with the hands already closer together. You'll see a lot of people doing the top change and they're way out here. Well, keep your hands tucked in. And that's why I prefer, instead of being to the side, I prefer to be front and back, because now this is a lot more subtle when you just come back like this, right? So now we just need a little bit of something to justify the movement of the hands. And so for me, it often depends on the routine, but usually I'll do one of two things. It'll be here, just, and I'll point at something. So maybe like this, I'll say, okay, here, put your hand on the box or touch the box, and I can do the top change there. Or I'll say, sometimes you want them to hold out their hand. Let's say I was doing a routine where it's like a mystery card routine. So I say, okay, this king of spades, it's going to be, imagine it's a blank card. It's a mystery card. You could even have a blank card. And then I'd say, name a card. But I'd use the auto index for this, right? So the auto index, is basically an index to access any card from a shuffled deck almost instantly. So I've done a video on my auto index. But let's say they say Queen of Hearts. So it could be any card. You say, okay, Queen of Hearts, perfect. You could have named any card, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold out this king just like this. And here, just hold out your hand for me just like this. And you gesture and you hold out your hand like that. Now they'll open their hand. You place the card in and it changes into the Queen of Hearts, right? So top change combined with auto index, but the point there being the justification where you come back and you say, here, open your hand like this for me. So those are the two justifications I find myself often coming back to, where it's like, here, touch that for me, or here, open your hand like this for me. Now, in terms of covering it, you'll see I've done it a bunch of times there. What's going on is I'm using this front hand to kind of hide the card out of view for a minute. Because if the card's out of view, no matter how slow I do this, well, now the switch is pretty much hidden. So that's the first thing. But you definitely don't want to come like this, right? You don't want to make it super dramatic. It's just tilting the hand up once again, so this is pointing at the eye line. Now, if this is pointing at the eye line, if I can get this perfect, watch guys, like it's so hard to tell. If you keep your eye on the card in my hand, like these are top changes. The card is switching. Every time I do this, the card changes, right? Boom, boom. Like it's changing every single time here. But if I get it perfectly so you only see the edge, it's impossible. You can't even tell the card's changing, right? I'm watching it now. It doesn't look like anything's exchanging, but each time the card is changing. So that's a good drill. You should practice just very loose. You're just exchanging them. There's no movement of the hands. You're just bringing them like this hand. None of the fingers move. None of the fingers move. It's just the hands coming together and the cards exchange because of that whole contact with the top thumb and the bottom fingers that we talked about. So once you get all that down, then it's just about combining it, where you have your justification, you bring the deck back to point it at the eye line, but you also get cover of the back card. And now when you do the exchange, and you come back into view, there's almost nothing to see. Like, I'm going to try to do this as invisible as I can in slow motion, and let's see how invisible we can get it. You know what? There was definitely a bit of movement at the front edge here. Right? Like, it's just so hard to do slow. I'm trying to find the best angle. But my point is, I'm trying to illustrate, like, you know, and so now you combine that like this, and it doesn't look like anything, right? Like, boom, doesn't look like anything. It just kind of looks like I'm just touching the card even. But the reason that is because the card is just out of view, right? When I come back, I'm doing this. So there's nothing to see. It's literally invisible. Like, you know what I mean? It's physically impossible for you to see because you can't see through my hand. And that's what makes it invisible. So it's that whole action of coming on an angle and tilting up this hand. And you combine all of those things and you can get a really nice top change that looks just like that. So those are my tips on the top change. Hopefully that was helpful. What was the move you were just demoing? So the other moves I demoed, so the diagonal palm shift. So that's where you can pull a card right into palm, the DPS. Or there was the straddle pass, which I've also taught on the channel, which is where you can just leave a card into the middle of the deck and it comes right to the bottom. So that is called a straddle pass, like that. And that's one of my favorite card controls, completely invisible. This is probably the move that I would say I am the best at relative to, you know, what I think is like doing it perfectly. I feel like this is one of the moves I do like the best, is the straddle pass. I put a ton of work into that. And so, yeah. There was something else. So let me know if you guys have any other moves you'd like me to cover. I know we had a question about mentalism, so let me just go check on a few things. So what do we have? What do we have? Card through blinds. Yeah, I don't even know. I could put a card into back palm and come into the blinds. There you go. Card through blinds. Combine that with a tent vanish and you're good to go. Right? Where you could take the 8 of spades, and if I put it into a palm, right? You can kind of see it like this when I put it into a palm like that, right? So if I hold it up, this time I'll put it into a palm, right? It's in the palm. If I just blow, it actually completely vanishes. And then what will go like this into back palm. Oh, I effed it up. I was going to go palm, transfer into back palm, reach into the blinds, and pull out the 8 of spades. There you go, Mike. There's your card through blinds on the spot. Okay. Quinton, hey man, welcome. Quinton is another fantastic member. I appreciate you supporting the membership, and I hope you've been enjoying the content, my friend. Put in a lot of work into those videos, and I have the Propless Mentalism Masterclass coming soon. I held a vote on the membership, and that is the masterclass that people voted on. I know I've said for a couple of months that it's coming soon. It is coming soon. It's a lot of work to put this together, so I hope you guys are excited for that. Is that similar to the one card middle pass? I've never heard of a middle pass, but it's a straddle pass. I mean, basically what's happening is I'm pushing the card through, and I'm straddling it and moving it to the bottom of the deck as I dribble. There's also my strike shift, which is like this. Oh no, that was a DPS. Sorry, sometimes I get them confused and I do them all together. That was not good. Let's do that again. Oh, rusty on the strike shift. Let's try again. There we go. So that one gets the card into a gambler's cop. So you can push the card, so what's that, 2 of spades, right into the middle of the deck. And you can hold it in a gambler's cop, so that's strike shift. Then you have DPS, which is in a classic palm. Let me actually show you how that comes out in the palm. So it's in a classic palm. And then you have straddle pass, which is just my favorite, straight to the bottom of the deck. And then from that point is when I can take the card and put it into a palm or pluck it out of the middle of the deck or whatever I need to do. So yeah, top change would be nice to cover. Yeah, Quentin, I just did an entire breakdown. You just missed it. Rewind about 15 minutes. I did a top change breakdown for the last 15 minutes just before you joined. I spent a bunch of time on the top change. So go check that out. I also do have a video if you haven't seen it. I'm assuming you have. If you want to look into the one card middle pass, Card College 1, page 77. Okay, I will definitely check that out. You tell me though. I showed you. Like, is it similar? I don't know. It's just, you straddle the card like this, and you're basically straddling it out of the deck and shifting it to the bottom. So tell me, is that the same or similar? Just, I'm curious. Let me know. Have any advice on the table riffle stacking? And then tips on the one ahead. Okay, I'm going to get to the one ahead in a bit because I know Aaron asked about that as well. So we'll talk about that in a little. Riffle stacking. I don't do a ton of riffle stacking. It's not really something I was ever all that interested in. The one, it's not really tabled riffle stacking though. So let's try something. I think the key is to work on your ability to let one card go at a time. And so I've found if I really bend the cards and I press with my thumb into the deck really hard, I can pretty well get a good one card riffle. So now I have the 4 aces over here. Actually, let's turn them face up. Let's see how I can do. I don't know. Do I want to be tight? I think I like to be tight rather than out here when I riffle stack. Let's see if I can get this. That was no good. Let's try that again. I don't know if I got it. I definitely bent the heck out of my cards here. Let's see. No, see there I missed. There I missed. So I am not all that good, so I don't have a ton of tips. I'm not all that interested in some of the more advanced gambling. Well, I mean, I do like gambling sleights. I mean, I have a pretty decent bottom deal. I love the second deal, and I use those, but I use them always in Magic Performance, right? Let's see if I have more success out here. I like the push through shuffle, all these things. So there we go. So that one was good. So I think now, right? If I have this correct, if I do, let's see if I can get 2 back to back. So I think that one was perfect, but let's just check out for fun. Yeah. Okay. So that one's perfect. And if I theoretically do it again, I think this is set up for like a 4-person game if I get this perfect, which I don't think I did. But let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. There, 1 too many. 4. 1, 2, 3. 1 too many. 4. 1, 2. And then see, those 2 that were 1 too many should have been up here. Or maybe just one of them, I guess. Yeah, so then one of them and then 4. Yeah. So I believe if you do 2 perfect riffle stacks, I think you can deal, you're ready for a 4-person deal yourself the aces, I think. I remember reading that at some point. I just never practiced it. So unfortunately, sorry, I don't have too many tips for you. Actually, one thing I did want to mention on the riffle stack is, let me grab those aces again. So the only stacking thing I used to do, I used to have this routine. I don't do it much anymore. I think I've actually taught it on the channel. It's called The Gambler. And what I would do is I would take the 4 aces and I would do various gambling routines. So I might take them, put them at 4 different spots into the deck. And then I would say, you know, how many people are we playing with? So let's say they say 5. So I'd say, okay, we'll play poker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we would do a sort of like a Texas Hold'em style. So we'd burn, turn, turn, turn. And then we'd burn, turn, and then turn. And you'd see the 2 aces there. And then we could look at everyone else's hand, kind of go through and see that they don't really have anything. That guy had kings, queens, jacks, and then of course I had the 2 aces. So I would do something like that. And then I would basically do a whole thing about how, you know, you could actually do this. And so then I would say, here, I'm going to mix up the cards and I want you to do it. And I would basically do this. Let's see if I can still do it. I don't know if I can. Let's see. Hold on. I haven't done this in ages. I don't think I'm going to get it right, but let's try. Okay, so if I did that right, and now, of course, you got to give the cards a cut. So we should have... Oh, think one card too many. So give me one shot, one more shot. So 1, 2, 3, ace. 1, 2, 3, come on. Ugh. See, I think I stacked one card too many. Ace. So this would work for 5 people. 1, 2, 3. There's the 4. Ace. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ace. So I had stacked it for 5 players, not 4. But you could actually, so what you do, I'll show you what that is. It's a riffle stacking technique from expert at the card table. So you start with the aces on the bottom, control them there or get them there in whatever way. And then you're basically doing this. 1, 2, 3. I was doing 4, so I should have been doing 3. So for a 4-person game, it's 1, 2, and then on the third one, see, now I'm forgetting. Hold on. No, I think it should be 1, 2, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, I was doing the wrong order. Okay, let's start again. So 4 aces on the bottom, and you're gonna kind of milk shuffle. So you basically do a milk shuffle. You go 1, so now you've taken the ace to the bottom, 2, 3, and then you do it again. Milk shuffle, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. In jog and shuffle off on top. Then you just cut to the in jog. I think I should have cut under the in jog, so let's say it's there. And then you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the nice part is the spectator can deal this because it's actual stacking. And so you can literally hand them the deck and have them do the dealing. So that's how I used to finish that routine. So now that I think I've ironed it all out, so it basically looks something like this, that last phase. So we would have just dealt to the aces. I would now take them. I would push them into the middle, but I'm actually just controlling them to the bottom. Then I would go like this. Okay, I'm going to give them one more shuffle because like any good trick, we have to give a shuffle. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, in jog, boom, shuffle, and I'd say, and finally, got to cut the cards. Now those aces were lost in the deck. It's a complete mess. And then I say, here you go. Now deal a 4-handed game of poker. So they would deal 4 cards to all the players. And if you did this properly, you tell them to flip over their hand, and they've dealt themselves the 4 aces. So that was a kind of stacking, the only real riffle stacking that I ever used to do in my kind of gambling demonstration. I like that one. It's a pretty easy way to do some riffle stacking, and I think it's pretty cool. Okay, a bunch of questions. Let's see. I know it's mostly misdirection to execute it, besides a good technique. Actually, we just talked about the top change without needing misdirection. So I would highly recommend, Quentin, you go watch earlier in the live. We just talked about doing the top change without misdirection, really, because I don't think you need misdirection for the top change. Like a well-executed top change is totally invisible, right? It's totally invisible. If you can kind of take it, oh, that one was bad. If you can take it and do it well with the subtleties that I was giving, and I don't even have to turn so much, right? Come on. Like, if you do it right, you can make it really deceptive. So go check out those techniques I kind of just described. This makes the top change clear. I have a better understanding now. Thanks. No problem. See, Quentin, go listen to Sam. Go check it out. I have a job interview coming up. I was thinking about performing a trick to make myself memorable. Not sure if I should lead off with it or close. What would you do? Okay, funny enough, I actually have done magic in a job interview before. So I have, professional magician, whatever, on my resume as a thing that I do. Even though I'm an engineer and has nothing to do with it, I think that they value that, right? And it's always a point of intrigue. And I think it's definitely helped because it always comes up in the interview. I've had people just ask about it. Hey, what do you do? And I kind of say, I teach magic, I help people, whatever, but I'm also a performing magician, and it's my I do it professionally. And so I explain that, and then sometimes it goes further. I've had people say, oh, we watched your videos before the interview, right? And that's always done really well. And I did have one interviewer ask to see something. So I would first, I'd recommend you definitely do it at the end if you want to do something. you want to find a way to lead into it. And you got to be careful. You know, you obviously want to pick something that you know can go well, because you don't want to leave that kind of awkward impression in their mind. But all I did, and it fried them. There was, I think, 2 people interviewing me. I just said, okay, I'm going to make a prediction. You know, we haven't known each other for very long. But obviously, you know, my face was on the camera, and I just held this up next to my face, or I think I held it on my palm. So I said, look, I made a prediction, and we're gonna see if my prediction's right. And then I went through the equivoque force of any card, but I forced the card that was in my hand. So in this case, it was the Jack of Hearts. So I just walked them through it, and you know, again, with the proper scripting, it feels like a complete free choice. And I just held up this card, and they ended, and I said, what card do you want? They said Jack of Hearts. I turned it around, and it was just something quick, snappy, good to do over virtual. If you're in person, it's even better, because you could do something like that. But hopefully that helps. Let me know. I think I would close with it, though, personally. It's similar, but when you go into the dribble, your 3 fingers are holding back the card. Hope that helps without giving away too much. Oh, maybe. Oh, it's probably like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. I think it's maybe like that or something. It seems like it's probably similar to the Victoria control, perhaps. Anyway, break down the push through to make it as invisible as possible. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on the push through, but I'm definitely... that was wrong. Hold on. I'm definitely decent at it. I mean, I use it a lot. No, I keep doing it backwards. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I thought that one should have worked. Oh, I know why it didn't work. Okay. So that was a push through. Especially with these bordered cards. It's like a cheat code. Never practice gambling sleights with a non-bordered deck. Always have a border so that you can actually see how your sleights look. Right? So that was a push through. So that's kind of how I do the push through. The biggest things for me, I don't think you need to rush it. I think, like, I see a lot of people do, like, you know, like so fast with it. Take your time. Like, for me, mine is fairly slow. I'll do this. Make sure. So there's 2 ways, right? You either pull top to the right, and if you pull top to the right, then let me think about this. Then you always want the right hand packet with the card on top. At least me being right-handed, the way that I do it. So then you're going to push through on your angle, achieve your push through. And because that right-hand packet was on top, you'll now have this, and it won't be like this. You want this to be covered. So now I love this subtlety of kind of squaring up like this and covering the offset with this hand. So I square up. I think that looks really nice. Then I come back, and now the top packet's over here. So in this case, when you pull the top to the right, you want to do a strip out and place forward. So then you can come back and do a cut on top of it to restore the order if you want it to stay in perfect order. What I even prefer is to pull the bottom to the right. So this is now the bottom. So the bottom goes on top. Again, right side always goes on top. Push through. Do this. Now, because this is the bottom, I can strip. Oh, wait, sorry. This is the top. I can strip and just throw it right on top and then go into like a false sort of up the ladder type sequence, right? So, you know, I don't have a whole lot to say on the push through, but those are kind of my general thoughts. Oh, when it's messier, it's better. You make something so simple look fabulous. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. I try. Love the cover of it. Thanks, bro. Another question. Do you watch the misdirection? Do you do the misdirection or question as you switch the top change? Yeah. So from here, oh, that was a bad one. So from here, this old deck, hold on. Okay, so from here, I point as I do it, if I'm pointing. So I'll say, okay, so this card here, now here, open your hand for me, like this, just like this. And that's one that I use. And then it's switched. Oh, that's a great switch. 3 of hearts for 3 of diamonds. Let's do it again. So I'm here, and I say, here, just open your hand for me. And I always do a slight, one thing I forgot to mention, a slight turn to the right. Slight twist. And so if you can bake that into your performance, where you're coming from the left side to the right, so maybe the person who picked the cards on your right, or you just turn away from them, so you come back and you say, here, open your hand like that for me, right? So that's what I would suggest. Or if you want to point at something like the card box, right? Have our 2 of clubs, and you say, here, just put your finger on that, or here, you know, whatever. Or like what I might even do is take this 9. I say, here, you know what? On this card box, I'm going to put the card, put your hand on top, and then it switches, right? So something like that. Do you use or have you used the Marlowe misdirection palm? Jason Magic, I am not familiar with it by that name. It is possible that I have used it. I am familiar with a lot of moves that I have either picked up over the years or created and then found out like someone else or they were a Marlowe move, you know, or and a lot of stuff you know, it's hard to, like, I am extremely, what's the word? I'm like a sponge. So I'll watch people do a routine. Like how I learned the invisible palm aces, the last few lives I was performing the invisible palm aces a lot because I was really liking that routine. And how I learned it, I didn't buy a book, I didn't study, I didn't watch a YouTube tutorial. I literally saw a performance of someone doing it a few months before. And I just, like, that performance will sit in the back of my head. And one day I was like, you know what, I want to learn this. So I took them out and I'm like, how could I do it? And then I'll work on the routine and I'll come up with a handling. But I have all the ideas that I've seen in my life are in the back of my head. Like, I just don't forget things. So I can kind of like, okay, you know, I'm like creating something, but I know I've pulled from, okay, I've seen this done this way, this done this way. And I kind of combine things, and it's always created from scratch, but it's often, I have these, so all that to say, oftentimes you know, I might have seen the misdirection palm that you're speaking of, and I can do it, and I've used it, but I just don't know the name of it, right? Silly question, have you got ADHD? No, I do not have ADHD, actually. I am all focused on that front. But yeah, I just have, I kind of have like in school, like a photographic memory. And so I can kind of use that in the same way with seeing things where I always have that visual attached to it, right? I never really forget it. So for magic, it's like I see something done and I can kind of stay attached to it, right? Jason, does it sound like I have ADHD? Sorry, all these lives, it's sometimes I'm reading comments and getting dragged all over the place, trying to stay on topic. What else? Okay, let's talk a little bit about One Ahead. So I'm going to be making a video on One Ahead and a masterclass on One Ahead on the membership at some point. So let's say One Ahead. Okay. And if you guys have anything else card magic related, now is your chance to let me know and I can cover whatever you need. Let me just see something. We talked about, oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys a few things. So One Ahead cleanup, I'm not going to dive too much into the One Ahead because I have, you know, a whole lecture on the One Ahead. Like, that's one of my big things in my lecture, and there's just way too much to cover and talk about. So I will be I'm working on eventually, after I get out the propless mentalism masterclass on my membership, I'm going to start working on the One Ahead masterclass, and I'll put part of that on the channel as like a mentalism 101 video. So I kind of want to save all that stuff. I think the important thing that Aaron was asking about is cleanup on the One Ahead. So let's say you are in this position where you go for a peek. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are coming to Blackpool, ask me to see my One Ahead routine, because I haven't shared this with anywhere, but it'll blow you away. It's pretty neat. It's got some really nice touches to it. Okay, so peek, and let's call it name. Okay. So presumably, let's say you're doing a One Ahead with a peek and then a freely chosen name. So presumably you do the peek first using whatever method you have achieved. Then you'll have the billet folded up. Okay, actually let's do it this way. So spectator number 1 and spectator number 2. Okay. So spectator number 1 and number 2. Okay, so we're going to do the free choice on the jack and we're going to do the peek on the king. Okay, so I execute the peek using whatever method I want to. Jason, I will see you at Blackpool, my friend. I am very excited, so I will see you there. And make sure you come say hi, man, and we'll jam. I'm looking forward to it. So the king is over here, right? So I've peeked something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up an empty billet, and I am going to write down. No, sorry. So I peeked something. Now that I've peeked something, I'm going to have the jack think of. So I have the peeked information. I have him think of a name. Let's say free choice. So he thinks of a name. I now look at him, open up a blank billet, and I write the information that I've just peeked. Okay, so I write peek. There's a bunch of subtlety and important things like cold reading you should do at this moment, but I'm not going to get into all that right now. Then I'm going to hand this to this person. I'll put it in their hand. Remember, says the peek from this person. Now I'm going to transition to this person. Again, justification, cold reading. Now I can actually perform some hot reading because I know what they're thinking of. Of course, before I transition and I tell this guy, okay, I've locked in my prediction. What is the name you're thinking of? So he says name, right? That's what he says. So now I grab another blank billet. I transition to this person using a justification. I write down the name that this person just said, and I fold it up, and I'll also hand it out to this person. So this is the way I choose to do it. I think it's much better when you can have those billets in their hand, because when they're standing there holding the billets, even though they're the wrong billets, with the proper audience management and just simply having them squeeze them tightly and telling them, look, we'll get back to that in a second, they're never gonna open it. They're not gonna be worried. If they do, I think that's on you. You have to be a better performer. Just give me 1 sec. Gotta get some water. With proper audience management, and you guys should really not be worried, and go watch all my videos on audience management, but just take control of that situation. They'll keep that down. Now, the reason I like that is a lot of performers, when they'll do one ahead, they'll usually hold on to the billets, or they'll set them in like a hat or something. And so that doesn't give that personal touch of them holding on to their billet with their word on it, so they think. So it's a really nice subtlety to have them hold on to it. The situation here is we now need to essentially switch the billets, and we have to get them back. So I don't put too much into this. I just gesture out my hand, and the one I want to reveal first is what I take first. So if I want to reveal, the one I want to reveal last is what I take first. So I would want to reveal the name last, right? So I reach out, but arguably you would want to reveal the peak last. It depends which one you think is stronger. And a lot of people would say the name is stronger, but I would argue, and we'll talk about this in my masterclass, I would argue with a peak, the other one is stronger. But we'll get into that in the masterclass on the membership. So you take this billet back, which again says peak. They believe it says name, but it says peak. And I just gesture. They place it in my hand. And I say, okay, so you thought of this. And then I come to this person and I say, and I would gesture and I open my hand. And this just kind of is held in my hand, sort of in a finger palm, but I'm not hiding it. I think when you try to do a deceptive, finger palm switch in a one ahead, it draws attention. That moment makes it feel like something sneaky happened. The second the audience feels like something sneaky happened here, that's when the potential for the idea of a switch happening enters their mind. And that's the only way that a lay audience will connect. The only thing, when I wasn't the best at the one ahead, when I didn't have all this work on the one ahead, and I just used to kind of do it and try to like covertly do some kind of switch like this, and then hand the billet, and I would keep the billets here, and then I would just pick them up and I'd try to switch them and do. That is when people, they would never understand, oh, how did you guess the peak word, right? Because the peak was very deceptive, but they would always say, you must have written the other word after he said it or something, right? So they always, if people word it once in a while, when I wasn't so good at the one ahead, that's what people would say. And that's where I started to develop this work where I was like, I want them to be able to hold their billets. And I realized that when you try to do a covert switch with the one ahead like that action, that's when the heat's on. And that action of, even though they don't know what's happening, it draws attention that there's a switch. And that's the only way a lay audience would connect the dots, that there was some kind of one ahead or some kind of writing on a different billet. They won't know it's called a one ahead, but that's when that idea would kind of stick out. So all that to say, don't do a covert switch. Do it out in the open. Be very casual with it. So we're at this position. So I just had him hand me this. Now I turn to this guy and I say, and for the first time, you are just thinking of any peak, right? I'll just call it a peak. I don't know what I had them peak, but let's say peak. So I'll just say, you were thinking of any peak, and I'll just place it in my hand, and then casually I'll take the other billet. There's no switch. It happens right in the open. It's literally, you know, the method. How did you do the switch? I just did it, right? There's no method. You just switch the billets. The billet's here. You pick it up, you put it behind your hand, and then you say, and you said, what was it again? For the first time, you said the word peak, right? Or whatever it is. And then I'll just open it. But there's so many subtleties here, and I don't want to get into it too much, but essentially the one little, you know, great idea that's super important, when you take this billet back, and now don't just say, and you know, what was the word you were thinking of? And then they say it, and then you pull out a billet and open it, because that is going to feel like you're picking between them. You're not picking the billet that they just handed you, which is what you want it to feel like. So you take the billet, put it here on top of the other one, and then I'm just going to grab the one behind it, right? So let's make sure I'm in the right order. Okay, so he's thinking of the word peak, but the word peak's over here. I take this, I put this on top, and then I just grab the other one out. So at speed, it kind of looks like this. I take it, and I say, okay, and you were just thinking of something, right? It could have been anything. What was that thing you're thinking of? And you see how I bring the billet out before I ask them what they're thinking of, and I also start to unfold it. So I say, and what was that thing you're thinking of? And I open it. And now opening it, that just feels like, hey, this is your word, right? What were you thinking of? This is it right here. I'm just about to open it, right? All that subtlety, that psychology of, look at the difference here, right? Okay, so, and you were thinking of one thing. What is it you were thinking of? The word peak. Okay, look, peak, right? Versus here, and you were thinking of one thing. And what was that thing? Sorry, I had them mixed up. Yeah, okay, we're good. So pick up the billet, and you were thinking of just one thing, right? It could have been literally anything. And what was that one thing you're thinking of? The word peak. Take a look, right? Little things like that make all the difference. Now I'll take this billet and I would just give it to this person. I would say, you know what, here, I want you to open this one. You take a look. And now they open it up and check. One last quick idea is to, no, you know what? I think that answers the question. I think I don't want to spend too much more time on the one ahead unless someone has a specific question, but I think that's the important key points for the cleanup. With peaks and switches, especially switches, you know, you'll always be in a situation often with a switch. So a switch is still, like I always say, a switch is just a peak with the billet in a different place. So a peak, I might have them place their billet on and I'd mix them up. I don't really have a stack of billets, so it's not deceptive. And then I might just, you know, do a peak on the bottom of the deck. With a switch, they'll place their billet on top and I'd have them, or let's do the top change because we've been talking about it. So with a switch, I'll have the peak billet here and I'll set it down. Sorry, it's hard with this folded. So the peak, I'll set it down. I'll have them put their hand on it. Well, now they believe their billet's here, so I could easily peek this, right? That's a switch. It's still a peak, but there's a switch. Now you need to clean up this billet because it's blank. So usually whatever you do to execute the switch, you can just do it in reverse. So now I'll pick this billet up and I'll say, here, let's see what you wrote. You wrote the word peak, right? And I'll just do a top change again or whatever method I'm having to use. Thank you for your guidance. No problem. If you could do a push through false shuffle or zero, that would be great. I honestly don't really do the zero. I am no good at the zero. I've never really practiced it. I've always been a fan of the push through. Actually, that zero didn't look so bad. But honestly, I even think like this is a great false shuffle. This is something I got from the Common Magician. If you guys don't know Carl, his channel, The Common Magician, is great. But all you do is you just turn your body, right? You're just going to turn. So they're seeing the shuffle not straight on, but this is all I'm doing. Sorry, that was not correct. This is all I'm doing. So they're not even being shuffled together. I'm shuffling the one packet, the bottom. So let's say I pull the bottom, then I'm just shuffling this, and then this, and then I'm pushing it together. But from here, it looks really good and it sounds good. You have the audible description. So I honestly love that as a false shuffle, where you just start with the top packet over top a little bit and then you just riffle them both on top of each other like that. But from the side, again, if you really want to cover it, you'd go in really tight like this with your hands. And you just kind of go like that. But I think it looks really good even from out at the side like that. So that's honestly a full shuffle that I love. But me, I'm a push through guy over the zero. Like I said, I don't do... Yeah, I'm not really that good at the zero because I never practiced it. How about having a Reed student jam session at Blackpool? That would be a lot of fun. You know what, guys? I would love to have put something together, some kind of jam on one of the evenings at Blackpool. I don't know if anyone's going the Thursday. I'll be there the Thursday. So if anyone's going on the Thursday night, get in touch with me, send me an email, and we'll try to throw something together. I would love to get in touch with you guys and have like a jam session or something with you guys who are going to be there. I love Billet Works. Switchcraft is a great ebook on the subject of switching billets. I have not heard of that book, but I'll have to check it out. I love billets as well. And, you know, I love my own, like coming up with my own methods on billets too. I just think it's, you know, there's so many unique ideas you can work with. Thank you. That really helps. Happy that helps, Aaron. Aaron, did you check out the new video on the membership I put out 2 days ago? It's a pretty awesome little billet idea. Oh, I did say, okay, let me, as always, thanks. No problem, Jim. So let me know if you guys have any other questions. I'm just going to jump back up here for a minute. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any other kind of questions that I can answer. We'll probably wrap up in another 10 minutes or so. So any last thing that you guys have, let me know. So I don't know if it's just the new year or it's this time slot. I used to always live stream around 1 p.m. Eastern, so about 2 hours before I started this live, 2.5 hours. And I feel the turnout's a lot better for this one. Not a lot better, but it's definitely better. And at getting, you know, more people. So I might try this time slot again next month, a little bit later, and see. Hopefully that works better for you guys. Let me know. But yeah, let's talk about the membership quickly. So people were asking what is my favorite, because there's a lot of stuff on the membership. Let me actually, I should be able to share with you guys. Yeah, okay. What are some of my favorites? So let's start at the bottom of the membership. Actually, let's go by playlist. Okay. Actually, no, let's go back. The other one is bigger. It's better. Okay. So membership. So if you join, you'll get access to the membership tab and you'll get access to all of these videos. So what are some of my favorites? I think, well, first of all, watching the billet switch techniques are very important. So the Al Baker 3 billet trick, that's like a card mentalism billet trick. That's really awesome. A Day of Your Life has a really cool plot and some really nice ideas mixed in. So I like that one. Turville, I think, is the best, if not one of the best routines on here. It's just a nice, well thought out billet routine. So I'd recommend Turville. News event prediction. Awesome little device that you can build. Unknown subject is like a stranger phone call routine. That's really, really neat. This is a Impression Modern. It's got a really cool device. Oh, graphology is super useful. Oh, there's so much good stuff. 2 papers and a spectator. Yeah, ton of great stuff. So all of that, I think, is pretty great. But yeah, okay, so I see a few more questions. What else? Thanks for the session. Great topics you covered. No problem, man. Happy to help. If you guys have any other questions, just let me know. Explains the subtlety of the push through. Pushing the top card over as cover is good. Yeah, it is good. I think you want to keep track of that, definitely. Where do you announce upcoming live streams? There's honestly not a great way to do this on YouTube, so here's what I would say. First of all, turn on notifications, channel notifications. Hit that notification bell, and turn it on for all notifications. And make sure on your phone, not just on YouTube, you have your notifications enabled for YouTube. Otherwise, yes, you'll have my notifications on, but if you block notifications on your phone, not going to work. So yeah, the reason being, The live streams, when I start the live, you'll get a notification right away. I think you might even get an email if you have all notifications turned on. I try to announce it the day before. So usually I announce it on Fridays on my community tab. So actually, let's jump back to Safari for a minute. Yes, this is how I watch myself when I'm doing the live stream. So if you go to, oh, I can't see the community tab. No, posts. Okay. Oh, did they change the name of it? I feel like it is. Yeah, it used to be called community tab. So I guess YouTube just changed it. So if you go on my channel and you go to posts now, it's called. Here is where I announce everything. This one was a last minute decision. I normally try to announce on Fridays. This one I was like, oh, I never live streamed for January. Let me do one quickly. Oh, I got to put on the front cam. So here's where I announce the new membership videos, and then me going to Blackpool, all this kind of stuff. So here, usually I do a picture like this, the Jamz live, come join me, you know, tomorrow or today, but I usually try to announce on Friday. Yeah, so thank you for the help with the top change. I need to look at your video for the straddle pass again. I'm getting better at DPS, but how to manipulate cards from there to Tenkai, Cop, Palm. Okay, so if you go playlists, I try to keep this all organized. Card controls, that'll be your playlist you want to check. And where's the playlist? Here it is. Okay, so if you, the straddle pass video is, so here's DPS. That's what the thumbnail looks like. Straddle pass is this one. Learn my favorite card control. That's what that one is. And then I do a video on Tenkai, and this is like the multiple card straddle pass to do it with multi-cards. So yeah, let's jump back. Okay, so that's that. Otherwise, how to get the card discreetly from DPS to the top or bottom of the deck is knacky. Oh yeah, I have a couple. I'm going to be teaching my cover pass at some point. So it's a DPS to top. DPS to bottom isn't so bad though. Notifications on my phone is how I got here today. Yeah, great. That's probably the best way. Oh, if you guys haven't heard John Kerry's new book, I wanted to mention not Magic with Friends. That's the name of my series. John Kerry and Friends, Volume 3. He has released that at the beginning of the year. So I have a couple of tricks in that book I've written up. I've written up my roller coaster effect. That's an effect you've seen me perform on the channel. I haven't taught it, but the effect is basically spectator picks a card. And it's kind of it's really cool because it's the one of the card effects is like the roller coaster effect is we are gonna do a trick on the spectator who picked a card, and everyone else is gonna see exactly how we do it. So the effect is the spectator holds a deck in their hand, they close their eyes, and without them feeling anything, the deck gets flipped over. The entire deck gets flipped over, and when they open their eyes, it's just flipped. They don't feel a single thing. There's nothing to feel. They just open their eyes and the deck has now completely turned face up. And everyone else will see how I do it. So it's only a trick for the audience because or for the spectator because they have their eyes closed. The entire audience sees how I do it. Once they see it, and while they're doing it, there's a moment where I take a card, which is a random card, and I put it in the pocket of one of the spectators or the audience, one of the audience members who's watching. Now the person opens their eyes, they're like, oh my God, how did it flip? And everyone else kind of laughs because they saw how the magic happened. So it's really cool, super engaging. And then I tell them, okay, we're going to take this up a notch. I'm going to make a card disappear from the deck. Any card that someone else names. Now someone else will name any card, and whatever card they name, when the spectator looks through the deck, that card will have vanished. Or should have vanished. How do I explain this? Okay, no, I think you need to know a bit more. So when I place that card in the audience member's pockets, everyone else sees what it is. So let's say it's the 8 of clubs. So I put that in the pocket. Now when I ask someone, hey, I want you to name a card, and whatever card you name, it's going to disappear. This is still only an effect for the spectator because I wink at the audience and they get that they're supposed to say the 8 of clubs because they just saw me put the 8 of clubs in the other person's pocket. So now they'll naturally say the 8 of clubs, and then this person's going to go through the deck and they're not going to find the 8 of clubs, which is going to be a miracle for them. All right, just for them though. But the catch is they do find the 8 of clubs. Even though they just saw me put the 8 of clubs in this person's pocket, they find the 8 of clubs. And then there's this moment of, hold on a second. Then I asked them for the card they said at the beginning, and the card that they picked and signed at the very beginning of the trick now ends up teleporting to this person's pocket. So the person who we're doing the magic for, now they think that there was a card to impossible location, card to pocket of their signed card, and everyone else, it's like a kind of a dual reality effect, but not one that if it doesn't work for one person, it's not going to work for everyone else. It's just a different effect for the different members of the audience, because the other members, they all saw, and it's just like a really crazy transpo that they never see coming. And anyway, I don't feel like I explained that very well. Go watch me perform it. It's an incredible piece. And I taught that in there. I taught a piece of propless mentalism in his book, and I taught my effect hurricanes in there. So I highly recommend. Those are some of my favorites. So I wrote those up in John's new book. If you want to check that out, I think it's available on John's website. I don't have my copy yet. It's in the mail, so I should be getting it any time now. So once I have it, I'll show it to you guys on the next live. I tend to use a spread pass a lot. Yeah, spread pass is great. Spread pass is one of my favorites. I love the spread pass. I don't use it a lot in performance, but I love it. We talked about Blackpool. I think we talked about everything. Oh, I did want to talk about EDC, but I think we're out of time. So next live, we'll talk about EDC, Everyday Carry. I have some new things, new fun things that I wanted to talk about. So we'll talk about that in the next one. Any last things, guys? I'll probably jump off in 5 minutes, or we'll wrap it up if no one else has any other questions or any other things they'd like me to help them out with. But yeah, I think that was an awesome live. That was a lot of fun. This book, John Carey, so it's called John Carey and Friends Volume 3. There's a lot of great creators who have contributed to the book. It is available now from John. So I think if you go to his website or his Facebook page, let me see if I can find it. Carey Magician. John Carey Magic. There it is. Okay, let me share my screen with you guys. Okay, so if you go to johncareymagic.co.uk, here it is. Beautiful cover done by Phil Smith, I believe he did this. And yeah, there's a bunch of performances. There's a ton of material in here. There is your boy right here, contributed to the book. So there's a lot of people who contributed. A lot of great stuff from John. Right here, can I zoom in? There we go. Here are the effects. My section. So yeah, you can pick it up on his website. It's a nice big hardcover, beautiful book. So I'll share that with you guys soon once I get my copy. But yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. No problem, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. With all that said, I guess I will... Awesome. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. No problem. Yeah, so next live stream, actually, let me take a look. I might be able to tell you when the next live stream is, just because February is Blackpool, so I'm like out of commission for like a week or two. So we're not going to do it next weekend, the 8th, but I think we'll do it on the... Okay, I think we'll do it on the 22nd, February 22nd at 3:30-ish, 3:30 p.m. So Eastern. So around the same time as this one on February 22nd. So that's my plan. If not, it'll be March 1st, but I'm thinking it'll be February 22nd. So I'll make an announcement like the Friday before, whatever. Should be a lot of fun. I'll have a lot of information about Blackpool. I'll get to tell you guys all about Blackpool. You know, I will hopefully have the John and Carey book. We'll talk about EDC because I have some new fun little things that I picked up. So we'll talk about Everyday Carry, and then whatever other questions you guys have. So yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. Do you think you can do a tutorial for the push through? Sure. I think it is on the list, in fact. So I'll consider making a video for that at some point. There's a couple of tips in this video if you go back a little bit. So you should go live in Blackpool. That'd be tricky though. I'm gonna have my camera. I'm considering making a Blackpool video. Like if I can kind of vlog and film a bunch of magic, I will. I kind of have a feeling I'll be performing a lot of magic and jamming a lot, so I don't know how much I'm going to be able to film. So I'm kind of like not too sure how it's going to play. I would love to make a video for Blackpool or about Blackpool and my time at Blackpool, like with a bunch of footage. So I'm going to bring the camera. It's all going to be there. I'm going to try. You know what? I have a feeling I'll be really busy. And so I might not be able to go live because I'll be at the convention and doing all the things and, you know. But possibly if I have an opportunity, I will go live in Blackpool. That'd be a cool idea. But yeah, if you guys are in Blackpool, send me an email. I will put together a group for all of us who are going to be there, and we can meet up, and I'll put together like a WhatsApp group or something, okay? So just send me an email if you want to link up at Blackpool, meet up, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your night. This was a blast. As always, if you guys want a private lesson, links are down in the description. I love helping people out. I had a couple of lessons this morning just before this, and a bunch more this month, so I'm looking forward to it. So if you guys are interested, I will probably host a group lesson as well soon, so if you guys want to join that. And I think the membership, that's the last thing. Membership, you know, some of my best stuff's on there. Really, if you're interested in mentalism and some really incredible material. I will be teaching some like exclusive card magic on there as well, so stay tuned. I mean, it's not the focus of the membership, but there's a couple of tricks that are going to be on there, so yeah, if you guys want some more stuff from me, that's the place to go. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your night, great rest of your weekend. And with all that said, guys, I will catch you next time. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Take it easy.